Okay, welcome in another session by Mr. M.Patrick. You can search me in by that name in the YouTube. You will find me and you will feel comfortable in your learning as we continue learning together. Good. So if you are new to the channel, just subscribe to that channel, Mr. M.Patrick. And I think you are growing together as you continue sharing to others so that we can continue learning and correcting one another in one area or regards to accounts and even mathematics and anything that regards to calculation. Thank you. Now today I've got an interesting part. Today we want to look into it. That is the petty cash book and the Imprest system. The petty cash book and the Imprest system. As you know very well, we have been able to look into the various books of account. And you remember, we were able to look into the journals or subsidiary books or books of original entry. And you remember, under the books of original entry, we had a book, apart from the other books, that is the sales journal, purchases journal, sales return journal, purchases return journal. We had also another book under special books, which was called cash book. Cash book. So cash book is wide. And among the books under cash book, we said cash book actually records cash transactions only in the business. Cash transaction only in the business. And we say a transaction can be either in form of cash in hand, or it can be either you pay through the check, that is through the bank. That is the cash book. Cash, that is the main purpose of the cash book, was to do what? Record cash transactions only in the business. So you realize we have to look into the cash book in detail. We will look into the single column cash book, 2-column cash book, 3-column cash book, and then we'll have to finish with the petty cash book and Imprest system. But for me, I've started with the petty cash book and Imprest system. Then I will come and combine the 2-column cash book and the 3-column cash book together with the single column cash book. Good. Petty cash book actually is not found in all organizations. That is what I can tell you. Petty cash book is not found in all organizations. It only, with the reason that being that not all, it will depend with the cash flow of the organization. So from the word petty, petty, as you know, petty, just some very small issue, things or what. So petty cash, yes, you know. So here, this book, it only record petty cash or petty things or petty cash transactions that take place in the business. Let me just give a verbal or a good example that maybe let's say an organization, let's say my farm, I run a farm maybe that it has got the cash flow of billions. You say something like that, a cash flow of billions. And then I want to buy just maybe a box of pen. A box of pen or a box of pen just costing maybe 100 shillings. It will look funny for me that a box of pen to go and record it in 3-column cash book or 2-column cash book. But I will record it under petty cash book. Petty cash book. Because that is a small amount that you cannot go and include where we are recording millions of money. So we record in the book called petty cash book. Now you ask ourselves, who operates this petty cash book? The petty cash book, from the word petty, we derive there now, we say petty cashier. The petty cashier is the one who operates the petty cash book in the business, most big organization. So you realize this big organization, they will have a person employed as a petty cashier. So the person, the main purpose for the person being in the organization is to record such transaction and also to maybe cater for the settlement of payment for maybe a certain creditor. Maybe we owe a certain creditor, maybe supplied us with maybe water, supplied us with a banana, maybe costing like 400 shillings, 200 shillings. We cannot record that in the 3-column cash book nor in the 2-column cash book. But he will be paid by the petty cashier. Good. Now, there is this word Imprest system. I will start from the Imprest system so that we can understand well how petty cash book comes in. Now, you realize the Imprest system works very well. And for the learners, I think you can get also a question under the Imprest system. You can be asked to give or to analyze or to give in detail how the Imprest system works off. Now, the Imprest system is a nice part. Let me just start with that part, the Imprest system, so that we can understand well, and then we handle the petty cash book. The Imprest system. Imprest system. Good. As I've said, this book, the Imprest system is still under the petty cash book. Now, the Imprest system, you know very well that under that there's this amount that is given to the petty cashier. This amount that is given to the petty cashier is what we call given a name called a cash float. So the petty cashier will be given a cash float. Cash float. So let's say the petty cashier will be given a cash float, maybe let's say of 1,000 by the senior cashier. So you'll be told this 1,000 you are going to cater for it for maybe small payments that might arise in the course of this month. So the cash float, let's say of 1,000. Let me just use 1,000. So this is the amount that the petty cashier will be given by the senior cashier in the business. Now, let's say the petty cashier will spend, let's say he spend what? 800. He spent 800. So at the end of the day, maybe that is in the middle of the month, the petty cashier will have the balance in hand of 200. Good. You'll have in hand a balance of 200. So maybe the petty cashier wants to continue to make some payments. Make some payments in regards to the small payments that arise. So what the petty cashier will do, he will have to go to the senior cashier and be done something called reimbursement. Reimbursed. He will be reimbursed. So he will be reimbursed. What is reimbursement? Reimbursement, in short, you are going to be given the amount you have spent so that you can be taken to the original position you are in. Yes? So that you can continue spending or making payments in regards to the organization. So, under reimbursement, I want you to pay attention here. Under reimbursement, you will never be reimbursed amount that you have not spent. So the question comes, under this our example here, the petty cashier will be reimbursed with the spend of 800. So we realize the petty cashier is going to be reimbursed what? 800. So 800, after he have been reimbursed 800, and he had the balance in hand of 200. So he has been taken back to the original position of 1,000. He has been taken to the original position of 1,000. So this is now he has been taken to the initial cash flow, or the initial amount he had before he spent. So do you know what? All of this, what we have covered, everything here, is what we call the Imprest system. Imprest system. The petty cashier being given the cash float of 1,000, maybe either given 1,000, spending 800, having the balance of 200, then having spending being reimbursed of 800. Then that's what? Be taken back to the original position. Good. Let me point something here before we go now to the format of the petty cash book. You have to know this. When you are in the exam and you are being given maybe a certain cash flow to work with, you'll never be told in an exam that you go for the reimbursement. Point to note. You'll never be told to go for the reimbursement. It's you to look into the payments you have been given, or the transaction you have been given that you have to pay for. If you see that you have the next payment is not being able to, the cash in hand is not able to settle the payment that is ahead of you, it's up to you, the petty cashier, to go to the senior cashier. You'll be reimbursed so that you can be taken back to the original position for you to do what? To make the payment. So I will show you, I will come with the 3 questions here. The first question, we are going to do the reimbursement at the end of the month. Meaning, we'll have the cash flow we are going to be given, we'll be able to cater for everything that we are supposed to pay. Another question you might get, or which we will work on after this, we'll work on another question where you have to do the reimbursement in the middle of the month. Let's say at around 15th, you are run off. You have 200, but the next payment, you have to pay maybe 2,000. So it needs us to go for the reimbursement. So we'll do reimbursement in the middle of the month. Then do what? Then go continue with the payments. Good. So that means let's now go to the cash, let's go to the format of the petty cash book and the question. As I always say, it's better to engage in a question so that we can understand more. Now that we have now the overall general understanding of the petty cash book and the Imprest system. So you'll get a question. Let me just come up with a question that I understand we can be told. We have this as petty cashier by the name Mr. M.Patrick. Mr. M.Patrick was given a cash float by the senior cashier, a cash float of let's say cash float of 3,000 shillings to cater for the petty transaction in the business. Cater for the petty transaction in the business. So the transaction that the petty cashier was to cater for in the month of, so the transaction in the month of cater for petty transaction in the month of let's say March, the last month, March 2025, as shown below. Good. So I was given the cash float of 3,000 to cater for petty transaction in the month of March 2025, as shown below. So I was on the 2nd March, I was to pay wages costing 300 shillings. Wages, 300 shillings. Then on the 3rd, I make traveling expenses. In the business, there were traveling expenses that I was to cater for. Traveling expenses of 150. So this means maybe one of the employees was sent somewhere, maybe in the market. Then we have postage. Postage we had 100. Then cleaning expense. We had cleaning expense of 50 shillings. Maybe that was just, maybe a broom was bought in the business or in the farm. Then also on 6 we had traveling expense. We also had traveling expense. $150. And then we also had on 7th we had wages which we were supposed to pay for, costing 200. Then we are being told we made a settlement of a Robert account, that is a creditor. A settlement on 8th we make a settlement. Maybe this guy supplied to the business, maybe let's say bananas at lunchtime of costing 400. So we have to, the petty cashier was supposed to settle this guy. The name by the settlement of Robert Robert account costing 400 in the purchases ledger. I'll show you how we treat this in the purchases ledger. Good. And then we are being told on the 31st, the cashier reimbursed the petty cashier. 31st, the cashier reimbursed the petty cashier. The petty cashier. Good. This means we are going to go for the reimbursement at the end of the month. At the end of the month, that is the 31st of March. Good. So that means we have now to go direct to our petty cash book and we start off our entries immediately. Good. So we'll have to come up now with the format. As I show you the format, we'll be handling the question at the same time. So this is the book that is very interesting and is the easiest book in the books of accounts. Where, it's a book that you'll see, it has got a debit side and a credit side. But interesting part of this book is that you realize the credit side and debit side shares the data and the particulars column. That's why I always say it's a very interesting book. Good. So let's see how interesting it is. So we'll have the first column. Let me start with the debit side. Debit side. And say DR, then CR. I will show you the DR and CR for that book, how it looks like. It's a very funny book, but an interesting one. Good. So the first column, I'll have it here. First column. And then I have another column here. We'll have another column. Then we'll have another column for particulars. Then we'll have another column for voucher number. Then I will have a column for payment. Then you know what? We'll have a column called analytical column. Good. I'll show you why it's called analytical column. So analytical column. So let me tackle this analytical column. Under analytical column, that's where now you are going to show us the headings of the expenses you are going to pay for. And let me tell you, you have to go through the question before drawing this, because you can come with the columns here, but the expenses, the headings you have been given in the question, they are not adding up with the columns you have created. So it means your work will look not that neat, but you know, in accounts your work must look neat. So you must go through the question first, write down the headings. Some question will give you the headings. Like I can see in the question we have wages, traveling expense, postage, cleaning expense, traveling expense, wages. You see, settlement of Robert account, meaning we'll have to come up with the ledger and creditor column. So that means we have already been given headings. But in a way that you get a question that you have not been given headings, you just read a transaction and just you'll tell this transaction is under cleanness. Let's say you're being told you bought a soap for cleanness. So that you just know very well that is under cleanness. Or maybe it took 100 Kenyan shillings to repair for puncture. That means that is under traveling expense, because you are preparing a puncture for that motor vehicle so that it can undergo traveling, it can take place in the traveling issues. So you can get a question that you have already been, they have analyzed for you the headings, but you can also get another question which you have not been done for that. So it's up to you now, the student, to do what? To do that. But those who are in the business, you will also benefit from this, because you will be able to cater for your petty transaction you take place in the business. Good, so let's proceed. So I said the first column, I will call it receipt. Let me call this column receipt. Receipt column. Then this one I will call it ledger folio. I'll call it ledger folio. Then this one, the next one I'll call it debt. Debt. Then after debt I will have particulars. Particulars. And then I will have after particulars I will have voucher number. Voucher number and then payments. Voucher number. Then have payments. Voucher number and payments. And then this one, as I told you, the analytical column. You can say right here analytical column. Because analytical column, because we have to come up now with the wages. We'll have to create here, maybe let me say this is for wages. So I can write here wages. Wages. Then we have what next? After wages we have a traveling expense. So I can write T traveling expense. Then I write what? Postage. I have postage, then cleanness. Postage. Then cleanness. Think they are over. Postage and then cleanness. Yes. Postage, cleanness, traveling expense, wages, they are repeating themselves. Then settlement of Robert account. Immediately you see settlement, you will come. That's why I said you read the question. If you have not been given anything with the settlement or paying up the creditor, you don't have to come up with that column. But here in the question, you have been given settlement of Robert account. So meaning I will come up with the creditors column and ledger. So I will come with the two column, one called ledger. Then, so you can write a ledger. Then the last column, it will be what? It will be creditor. 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 Good. Creditor. Now someone is asking me, this is the format for, so you can write here petty cash book. Petty cash book. Petty cash book. Maybe someone can ask me, where is the DR and CR for this book? DR and CR, let's say from receipt to ledger folio, that is what we call DR. Then voucher number and payment is what we call now CR, credit side. That's why I say it is a very interesting book. For those who have interacted with the cash, 2 column and 3 column, you can see it's very different for them. Then you can see the particulars and debt they share both will be everything recorded here, maybe going this and going this side. Good. I think it's now good for us to go through the question. We are being told the petty cash. Let me project for you the question so that we can see. The question says, Mr. M.Patrick was given a cash float of 3,000 to cater for petty transaction in the month of March. In the month of March 2025, as shown below. So we have been given a cash float of 3,000. So how do you record this 3,000? Let me show you 3,000. How do you record 3,000? So you'll come in your book. You'll come in your book. That is the amount you have been given as a petty cash. That is what now in the Imprest system we call what? The cash float. The cash float. So you'll come and say on 1st of March. So you write here on 1st of March. 1st of March. 1st of March. So you'll say cash book 1, CB1. That is the amount you have been given from the senior cashier. Cash book 1, you can call it cash book 1. You are given what? 3,000. 3,000. Good. So that is the amount I have ready to do what? The payments. Ready to do the payments. So on the 2nd of March, we paid for wages. So I will write here 2nd March, I paid for wages. Paid for wages. I paid for wages. Remember, under particulars, when the cash, so this was cash, was given cash in hand. So you write there cash. So wages, we paid for wages costing 300. So we'll make, so this one you write 01, meaning voucher number 1, or you can just write 1. The voucher number 1, you can write 1 or 01. So Voucher number 1, we made payment of 300. But under what? Yes, we make payment of 300. Under wages. So you will extend that 300 under wages. Good. Nice. Hey, very interesting book. On the third, traveling expense, 150. Traveling expense, so I will write here third. Traveling expense. Traveling expense. So voucher number 02. As we said in the books of accounts, we record transaction in a chronological order. Meaning, we start with the first transaction as it happens. We record as it happens on daily basis. Good. Thank you. So we make payments of 150 under traveling. Payments we made of 150. But this 150 was for what? Traveling expense. So you extend that traveling expense 150 under traveling expense column. Very nice. We go to the on the fourth postage. 104th postage. So on fourth, we make postage. Postage we make 100. So voucher number 3, we make payment of 100. We make payment of 100. So under what? We ask under postage payment of 100, but under postage. So we write here 100. Good. We go to the next one. Cleaning expense. Cleaning expense. On 5th, we make cleaning expense. So we had to pay cleaning expense. This might be the person who working around, or we pay a cleaning expense of 50 shillings. So voucher number 4, that is the 4th payment I made of 50 shillings, but under cleaning expense. So you'll extend under cleaning expense. Good. Then you go ahead. You're being told on 6, traveling expense 150. On 6 also we did traveling expense. Voucher number 5, 150. But under traveling expense. So we go under traveling expense. Right there. Good. Next. We wages on 7. Wages 7. You come right here, date 7. Under March. Wages particulars. Under voucher number 06. Wages over. We make payments of wages over 200. Maybe this is the person that is employed there to do something, two tasks there. Wages 200. So we'll extend that 200 under wages. That maybe it was under wages. Good. We go to the next one. 8, settlement of Robert account. So pay attention here. Now, this is a creditor. A creditor. This is somebody maybe has supplied for us, maybe as I mentioned, the bananas, so that we can eat at lunchtime. And we have to pay. We just, he supply with us, but we never pay. So we are now paying as I'm paying as a petty cashier. So we'll come and write here 8. Then write here the name of the creditor, Robert. Then voucher number 07. Amount was 400. 400. That one you can see settlement of Robert account of 400 in the purchases ledger. So we'll come and write under ledger here. Now under ledger here, I will write purchases ledger 1. Purchases ledger 1. Maybe I will have another creditor. I will call it purchases ledger 2. Good. Next, we do what? Now you extend how much? The payment was 400 under creditor. 400. Good. Think you have understood that. Then we have been told the transaction are over now. On 31st, the cashier was reimbursed. The cashier reimbursed the petty cashier. Good. So we are done with the payments. But remember, the petty cashier was done what? Was reimbursed. Now, if the petty cashier was reimbursed, we remember I said in the under Imprest system that you will never be reimbursed the money you have not spent. If you have spent 200, we are going to reimburse you with 200. If you have spent 300, we are going to reimburse you with 300. The same, the way I had explained there under Imprest system. Now, as this one now, we want to get now. After we are making the payments, we get the totals. Then we go for the reimbursement from the petty cashier. So good. So we go, let's take our calculators now and do what? Get the total. Under payment, you get the total. So I will do 300 plus 150 plus 100 plus 50 plus 50 plus 150 plus 200 plus 400. So I have 1350. I have 1350. I have 1350. So the total payments was 1350. So this 1350 is the one the petty cashier will be reimbursed with. The purpose of us being reimbursed is to be taken back to the original position of what? 3,000. So when we go in the month of April, the way we are now in the month of April, in case of any expense that may arise that is under petty cash, that is categorized as petty cash transaction, I'll be able to pay it. Good. Now, what do we do now? This is the area that you have to pay attention. How you have to go for the reimbursement. How do you go now? Because I've said we are going for to be reimbursed with what we have done, what we have spent. You see, you will come and say what you write here now. You are going to write here cash. So you are going to report back. You are going to report back cash you have spent as at 31st, maybe as at 31st of March. I have spent cash of costing 1350. So here I've gone to the cashier. I'm now on the counter. I've gone to report at the end of the 31st. I will go and say at 31st I've spent 1350. Now the petty cashier and the cashier, they will have to balance the account. They will say, now let's balance the account and we see what I'm going to reimburse you with. So let's do the balance. So if I do the balance here, I will have what? I will have, if I add this, 3,000 plus 1350. 3,000 plus 1350. I will have 4350. 4350. Good. Now 4350 meaning I have to do what? I cannot balance. The account is not yet balanced. So because we have, remember this is debit side and credit side. So I've worked to the debit side. So the credit side, it has to balance also. So I will do what? The same. I'll come and say balance as at 31st. I will balance, carry down. Balance carry down of what? So balance carry down, for us to have that, will be a balance carry down of 3,000. 3,000. So that at the end of the day, we will have 4350. This side 4350. So our account has balanced. So we have agreed. I have agreed with the petty senior cashier that we have spent 3,000, and if we balance, we have that. So at the end of the day, the balance carried down, the balance brought down now will come here. Balance brought down. That's the balance brought down. Balance brought down becomes now on the amount now you are going to be what? So on the 1st April, the balance brought down you will come with. So let's say on the 1st April, the balance brought down, we are going to come with the balance carried. The balance brought down is the balance carried down. Here, you can see there, 3,000. So the 3,000. So meaning, when you are going to the month of April, I will go with this 3,000 in the month of April. So April, I will have my cash float as 3,000 to start my payments also. So, and I will be done. That is how we balance our accounts, and that is how you are being reimbursed. So the next question I will come with is when you are making payments and maybe you are on the 5th, then you are run off with the cash flow. So we'll have to balance in the middle here, in the middle of the month. Then we go for the reimbursement, then continue with the payments. Good. Under analytical columns, what you'll do, you just do what? You just total like wages, under wages, you'll total here, you'll have 500. Here you'll have 300. Here you'll have 100. Here you'll have 50. Then here you'll have 400. So this one, you just get the totals. Just get the totals. Just get the totals and you are done. But the key, the area that is very tricky is this part of balancing and knowing how you can go for the reimbursement. The reimbursement. Good. So that is how it is being done. And you have to note that if you don't have a question that you are not paying a creditor, you don't. There's no need for us to have this two columns, the last two columns. Good. So, and then I will show you how we'll have to open this account to post them in the relevant accounts. So you have to open wages account, travel and expense account, and we post these ones down here. But the key part that I wanted you to understand today is how you can record your petty transaction, and how you can operate under Imprest system, and how you can go for the reimbursement. Those are the key areas I wanted you to understand today in this session. So the next session, I'm coming to handle the 2-column cash book and the 3-column cash book. The 2-column cash book and the 3-column cash book, they are not far from each other. The only thing that the 2-column cash book, it has got the cash book on the debit side. It has got cash and bank account on maybe a debit side and credit side, the same cash and bank account on the credit side and debit side. But when you come to the 3-column cash book, they have introduced another column called discount allowed and discount received. The discount allowed, you will find it on the debit side. Yes, discount allowed, you will find it on the debit side. Discount allowed, I always say this is a discount you are giving to your customer so that you can lure them into the farm to continue coming and buying the goods. So you'll find that discount allowed, we are going to capture it under debit side. But the discount received is us, now the business, we are receiving the discount from our suppliers. They are luring us. Maybe you are supposed to pay 2,000. The salesperson tells you that I'm going to give you a discount of 10%. So we are going to see how you are going to treat that one under the discount received in the debit side. That is under 3-column cash book, but not now under the 2-column. Under 2-column cash book, we don't have the discount allowed and discount received. Discount allowed and discount received comes in when we are handling the 3-column cash book. So what you'll do, just subscribe to the channel, share to your friends, and just hang on the channel, because in very coming days, in few days, I will be uploading the 2-column cash book and the 3-column cash book. So for today, goodbye, and may God bless you wherever you are as we continue our learning together. Bye.